What's up, guys? Amethyst Hierophant, and we are going to go on a Sunday walk. It's a drizzly day, but beautiful nonetheless. Today is just, it's been a unmotivational day. A day that, it's hard to get out of bed. Um, but I feel like part of that is that we need to listen when our body tells us that and to give it what it needs, to give it that rest. But at the same time, it's important to continue the things that we're meant to do, continue to listen to the higher call within ourselves, and to let that be our true guide in everything we do and in our everyday experience. Listening to that inner voice that tells you what you should be doing at any given moment, how you should be feeling in that moment, what you need to learn in that moment, what you need to receive. And I just wanted to give myself the opportunity to come out and be in nature and have those moments, to have those points of connecting with my higher self while I'm talking to you guys. It's pretty profound how that happens, but it just has to do with not letting fear win and just coming into yourself, speaking your own truth, and just that divine personal power that we are God, that we all have the spark of God within us. I've been super focused on that lately. Just the idea and honestly the research, everything behind the fact that everything points to the fact that we are God. We are it. We don't need to look to find anyone higher than ourselves because we in and of ourselves are so powerful. And I just have been on that rabbit hole. Seems like my whole life is just realizing the fact of, wow, I'm way more powerful than anybody has ever told me. And that happens because nobody wants us to know how powerful we are as people. They want us to be stuck in states of fear and in states of identity crisis, not knowing who we are, not being able to remember who we are, to be in that amnesia state. And it's wild how we have adapted to that and come to know it in ways where now, I know for me at least, when I'm in my higher state, that's the one that feels kind of dreamy. That's the one that feels so detached from the body because it is, because it's my higher self. But in those moments, it actually feels weird. It feels unnatural because we've been programmed to learn basically that a state that is so unnatural to us is comfortable, and we've accepted that and conformed to it. And it's just wild that we allowed that to happen as people, that we, I guess, wanted to experience that going down in density. And yeah, but my journey of coming out of that has been just wild. It's not always easy. It's not always comfortable. A lot of times it's uncomfortable. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel like what I would normally do, like what I would allow myself to think about. But it's just embracing that that is the higher side. That's the spirit side. And when you focus on the spiritual side of things, and you're doing it right. Walking a different route today because as much as I believe we have to stick to certain things like routine and ritualistically do things to set it in motion and make it habit, it's good sometimes to just step out of what you know and experience new things. So I decided to walk a different path. And I've never been to this park before, so it's all new to me. Pretty cool. They've got a little stage area and some seats, some water going on down here. A makeshift dam. Can replicate them. Pretty cool, man. Now that I'm living in my higher purpose, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine going back down and being blind per se. Just to be brainwashed to have that feeling that I used to have where I always knew there was something beyond what I was seeing. That was that was a more uncomfortable feeling than the uncomfortable feelings I feel now actually coming out as my soul and stepping into my higher purposes and higher self. So as hard as this is, it's not anywhere near that feeling that I used to have, that there's something else going on and I just want to be able to see beyond. There's like a veil in front of my eyes and wanted it lifted. Cool little island, little bridge. I'm so thankful to be alive, to be able to experience all of it, to be able to take it all in, to go from being blind to awakening, to being able to see. If I had already known everything and seen everything, I wouldn't be able to experience it. And, and I think that is what we need to realize as people, is it's the journey, it's the progress, the process of learning who we are that's so beautiful. And it definitely has been for me. These roots are pretty cool down here. Walking on them like the little stepping stones. If I could give a gift to every person in the world, it would be the gift of coming to know who they actually are, of uncovering that veil and watching them realize how powerful they are. And that's what I see as my mission, is just being a person who does that for people, someone that helps people along the way. And the process of awakening is not a one-time deal. It's multiple layers. It's like an onion, and it just keeps peeling. We have people that come throughout our life and peel one layer away, and we continue on, and another layer is peeled. And it's just this beautiful unraveling process, like a Jericho flower. If you've ever seen one of those or used one, it's just this dried up, almost looks like a tumbleweed, but you put it in water, and lo and behold, it unfurls and becomes a flower again. And you can do it as many times. It's the death and resurrection cycle. And that has been something that I've been also hardcore researching and studying. It's just the process of exactly what I'm doing in my life, which is dying to the old way that I was, dying to a false belief system, and being reborn to see things as they really are, to be in a world where I realize my power and can use that power to manifest the reality that I want to be in, the reality that I want to see. Got a bunch of birds flying. I am so thankful to just be here right now, to be experiencing this right now, to be living in this reality, to be able to be in it, but not be of it, and be able to change it. That is just, it's beautiful that we get to do that. We get to go through this experience. And it's wild once you get to the other side and you start coming to where you're realizing that the experience is coming to a close, that you have awoken to the truth and the reality, and it makes life so much more enjoyable because you can just enjoy it, because you're not confused, you're not blinded any longer, not deceived. You've awoken to who you are as a person, what the world is around you, and you just get to enjoy it. You just get to experience it with people who are like you. That's what I'm doing in my journey, just experiencing being awake with other like-minded people. And the way that we're drawn to each other is just supernatural. But that's how vibration and energy work, so it makes sense. See? Very tired today. But it's important to come out in nature. My schedule doesn't allow for me to do it as much as I'd like to. So getting out this once a week is really, really important just for me. That's why I have to do it. It has nothing to do with posting a video. That's not even what it's about. It's about coming out, being with myself in nature, being able to receive the channeling that we can only receive when we're with ourselves, when we're out by ourselves. That's why Moses went to the top of the mountain alone to speak with God, because when we speak with God, we're speaking and looking within. And we can only do that when we're alone with ourselves. So it's important that, as tired as I am, as much as I didn't feel it getting out of bed and doing anything today, that you push yourself, that you go. Go anyway. Don't let anything stop you, because you're really just stopping yourself from experiencing things that are important. Being out here is important for my journey right now. It's important that I took a different path today, that I didn't walk the one that I've been walking in the past 4 videos. There was significance and meaning in every little aspect of our life. There's huge significance and meaning in all of the symbols and all of the numbers. There's so much meaning that we're usually not tapped into, so we don't notice it for what it is, but it's always very present, whether we are aware or not. I know a lot of people see the angel numbers, and I do as well, and they're just great confirmations because you get them in the craziest of moments where it just doesn't quite make sense, that you would just turn and see at that moment 333. And I think that we've all been seeing that our whole life, because that's just how the program works. But when you become aware of it is when everything changes, because you're conscious of the fact that there are these repeating numbers, and that's uncommon, that's unusual. And I do believe it is how we are glitching the matrix, so we're coming to accept ourselves within this program space that we're in, within this human experience, within this density. I've been hardcore studying Egypt still, because there's so much from the Egyptian culture, from the religion that they have, and it's been wild. Um, I went to Washington D.C. yesterday. I actually think that's where I'm going to be doing my video next week, so be prepared for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Actually, I feel like that's exactly where I need to be to deliver the message that I want to convey. And yeah, so I went there yesterday and went to the Smithsonian Museum, which was a lot of fun. And they had an Egypt section, and the whole thing was really cool in how they designed it. Um, just evolution, basically. I went to the Natural History Museum, so it just shows the evolutionary process from when we were just things that crawled up onto the sand from the sea, and the whole evolution from then on through Neanderthal, through we were monkeys. That was really cool for me to see. I hadn't been to the Smithsonian since that theory is now seemingly concrete, that Darwinism is no longer a theory. It's just what it is. There's too much evidence to deny that we did not genetically come from a higher primate. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with knowing that I came from something that was just in the sea that became became its own entity. So for me, the whole process has just been very cool to witness my own evolution and to see that as a global scale type type deal, that we have evolved from nothingness. We came to be, and it's just a beautiful process. This journey is teaching me so much about myself, so much about just life in general, just being out and speaking your truth, how that would be perceived by others. Um, because you don't see it, because it's not supported in the way that it should be. We should support one another in being out and being able to just speak to yourself without that being seen as as crazy or anything. And is it actually crazy, or is it that's just the notion that we tell ourselves? I believe it's probably the latter. It's an unconditioning thing that I need to work on myself, is that thinking that people would somehow care, or caring that people would care about what I'm doing. So this process is just doing exactly what it needs to be doing for me in every moment. And I just have to trust that. And that goes beyond just doing these videos. It's just everyday life. Just trusting the process, noticing, of being aware. And not just of the physical realm, but of the spiritual realm. Being aware of the internal just as much as the external. We're taught to rely so much on our physical senses that we lose touch of our spiritual gifts and our spiritual senses. And it's important to live in between. And it's not easy, but it's important. It's important for the process to take place of coming into higher consciousness, the ascension process, being able to get to a place of completion. So yeah, I think I'm gonna cut the video short today, just because I'm very in between today. I'm very much leaning more into the spiritual side, and that's okay. And I think my body is telling me that I just need to go and rest and be with myself, collect, go further, kind of cocoon, be a butterfly, go through my metamorphosis, and and then I think next weekend I am going to do my video in DC. So that's going to be really exciting. And I'm going to spend this week just studying DC even further. I've already started looking into the architecture and the layout of DC and how that ties into all of this, to the reality, to the Matrix program, to what we're experiencing. And yeah, I'm excited to share that. So have a great week, and just remember how powerful you are. Remember how special, how important, how divine you are, because you are. And when you come to realize it, it will change everything. Trust me, it has for me, and I know it will for you. Every door that you are knocking on will be opened, for the good and the bad, whatever that means for you. So I just wish you all of the peace and love in your journey.